number lines with the rounding to the nearest 100. So now let's notice how, because now we're talking about hundreds, our upper and lower values have changed, right? Because now we're looking at the nearest 100, not nearest 10. So our upper and lower values will be hundreds, 100, 200, or for example 600, 700, 500, 500, or 600. So when you're rounding, keep in mind which one of these you have on both ends. Okay, so our number is 183. So that would be approximately right here. Okay, so because the target number that we are rounding to is 100, we're going to circle the 100. Then look to the number to the right. And it's an 8. And because of our number line, we see that 183 is closest to the upper 100, which is 200. So that means it's going to round to 200. But if we didn't have this line, we would look to the right of our target number. It's 8. Because that's 5 or more, that means that this number goes up to a 2, and then everything else becomes a 0. Okay, next one, 320. What is your lower number in terms of hundreds, and what is the upper number in terms of hundreds? Because hundreds is our target, right? And in this case, it's 300 and 400. So if we would place this number, it would be somewhere like right here, maybe 320. Okay, so according to our number line, we can clearly see that it's closer to 300 to the lower end, so it'll round down to 100. But if we didn't have our number line, we would circle our target number, which is the hundreds place, look to the right, the number is a 2. So if it's a 2, that means that we are going to keep the 3 and everything else becomes a 0. So we're going to keep the 3 and everything else, or all the other numbers, become 0. Okay, let's do this one. In this one, we have 672. So our lower end of the hundreds is 600. Then on the upper end, we have 700. Okay, next, we're going to place this number. 672 would be maybe around here. Okay, so 672. And like I said, because of the number line, we could see that it's going to round up to 700 because it's closest to this number. So we would round up to 700. But if we didn't have our number line, we would circle our target number, which in this case it's hundreds. Look to the right, it's a 7. So if it's a 5 or above, that means we round up. So that means that this circled value will go up 1 to 700. And then the rest of these numbers become zeros. Now let's take a look at something that looks like this. So here we're rounding to the nearest 10. So this is what I mean by let's keep in mind the lower and the upper numbers. For 22, rounding to the tens, on the lower end, we would have the 10, we would have 20. This is the lower tens. And this is the upper tens, 30. So for 22, because we're rounding to the nearest 10, this is in the tens place value, and this is the ones place value. So we would circle our target, which is the tens. Then we look to the right, it's a 2. And remember, if it's a 4 or below, it rounds down to the lower end. So it would round down to this one. Right here we'll put round down. Next one, 67. What is in the lower end of 67 in terms of tens? And what is in the upper end? So this on the lower end, it would be 60. The upper end, it would be 70. So try to imagine the number line. We're at 67. So let's circle our target value, the tens. Look to the right, and that's a 7. So if it's 5 or above, we round up. So that means that this number goes up by 1, and the rest becomes 0. So it'll round up to 70. That's right, round up. Let's try something like this one. Remember, we're still rounding to the nearest 10. So if we look at the 10 digit, it's a 9. So on the lower end, it would be 390, because we're only looking at the tens place. On the upper end, it would be 400, because 10 more from here, because it's the tens, we know that it's 10 more. So 90 plus 10 more will get us to 400. That's why this value would be 400. Okay, let's go to the rounding part now. Our target is the tens place. We look to this spot, the right. We see that it's a 9, so that means that if it's 5 or above, we round up. And that would be 400. Let's do this one. Remember, we are still just looking at the tens. So in this one, it's a 0, and we're looking at the one to the right. So on the lower end, we would have 2,600. And on the upper end, we would have 2,610. Okay, next we look at the number next to our target number. It's a 1. So that means if it's 4 and below, we round down. So we would round down to this number. Now we're rounding. Now we're rounding to the nearest 1,000. So remember, let's keep in mind those upper and lower values in terms of thousands. So that means that you're thinking of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, right? All the way to 10,000. Okay, so number 1, round to the nearest 1,000. So which number is in the thousands place? So this is the ones place, tens place, hundreds place, thousands place. So we circle our target number. On the lower end, we have 5,000. On the higher end, we have 6,000, because we're thinking in terms of thousands in the upper and lower. Next, we look at the number to the right. If it's 5 or above, we round up. So that means that our number will be 6,000. Round up. Next one. Our number is 1,070. So on the lower end, we'll have 1,000. On the higher end, we'll have 2,000. Okay, so circle your target number, which is thousands. Look to the right. If it's 4 and below, round to the lower end. So we'll round down. because it was a 0, right? Let's look at this one here. 80,450. Remember, we're still thinking in terms of thousands. So on the lower end, we'll have 80,000. On the upper end, if you add one more thousand here, we would have 81,000. All right, so our target number is still the thousand, so we'll circle that one. We look to the right, it's a 4. And if it's a 4 or below, we round down. So our number would be this one if we round it down. Okay, so I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. Bye.